Hey everybody, welcome back to another live stream. Before we get into the show, which will begin in a moment, I wanted to let you know that if you have any questions throughout the stream, remember you can always ask them on our website. We have a live chat support ready and able to help you. My team there is available if you have any questions about any of our products, services, or just have a question for fun. Check it out. Link will be down below in the description.
The stream will be starting shortly, but while you wait, you can check out our sponsors 8cap, Forex Tester, and Superfunded. You can find the links to them down in the description below.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another live stream. Before we get into the show, which will begin in a moment, I wanted to let you know that if you have any questions throughout the stream, remember you can always ask them on our website. We have a live chat support ready and able to help you. My team there is available if you have any questions about any of our products, services, or just have a question for fun. Check it out. Link will be down below in the description.
Coming to you live from our studio in Atlanta, Georgia, this is the A1 Trading Daily Show. Whether markets are rising or falling, we're here to keep you up to date with the latest market news. Join us as we trade currencies, commodities, and indices live, Monday through Friday.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream. Happy Monday. Excited that all of y'all are here with us today. Excited to get on with another week of live streams. But let's start off here in the market heat map. We're going to take a look at how some of our assets are trending so far today. And up here on the top left, I can see our biggest mover of the day so far. And that's actually gold, up 3.41% on the day so far, followed by the NZDUSD, Aussie USD, GBP NZD, Euro NZD, and GBP USD. Up towards the top. So it looks like New Zealand dollar crosses and US dollar crosses are making some moves towards the upside, and down here towards the bottom, CAD JPY, USD JPY, CHF JPY, Euro JPY, GBP JPY, and Aussie JPY. So yen crosses selling off pretty hard today. I want to thank our sponsors 8cap, Forex Tester, and Superfunded for sponsoring today's stream. If you want to learn more about them, you can do so in the links down in the description below. But with that, let's go ahead and jump into the markets with Nick.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here, and thanks, James, for that introduction. We are back for another week, like James was saying, and some interesting things moving. Of course, the most interesting of all of them being gold. Man, gold absolutely flying up and actually tagging for the first time in several months. Actually, let's go back. When's the last time we touched 2,000 on gold? Let's just see out of curiosity. It hasn't been since April of last year. So it's been a whole year since the price on gold has been so high. This level is really key for people who are watching gold. We just tagged 2,000, and this offers something that we need to talk about. when you have a market that runs up like this, when you have this extreme one directional push, oftentimes people will say, hey, how far can this thing really go? And I'm not a big fan of trying to short something like gold where it's just in a straight run to the upside. However, there is something to be said about such a psychological level, such as 2000 being hit, that we could potentially mark this for sellers as a key level of resistance. Now, of course, it's too early to tell, and this thing could fly right through the highs by the end of the day. But the point is, there is at least some response currently at the 2000 level. Now, notably, one thing to pay attention to would be if you get a breakout of 2000, when we look at this gold chart, if we get a breakout to the upside, it may actually offer some level of broken support. Broken resistance could actually turn into support for a higher time frame, longer term move to the upside on gold. Now, of course, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's just take a look at what we currently see, which is again 2000 holding as resistance at this time. And is it possible that we see some sort of retracement in the intraday here today? I would say is a pretty good shot. When you hit a big level like 2000 after a big solid run up like this, it's very common for the bulls to sort of move out of the way briefly, let the bears sort of pull it back. And then again, if bulls are going to get strong, shoot it off that level once more and continue this overall march to the upside. We've been bullish on gold the last few days, really looking for more upside on the gold market. And I want to show you guys, here's the 4-hour view. You can see if we narrow in a little bit, you can see there was this pivot here around 1890 before price launched again. And so I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, well, hey, if price pulls back to this 50% retracement, which lines up nice with previous resistance, this could actually offer some level of support for the buyers. I would say that's a pretty solid long idea for me on gold going into this week. If we do get a haircut after going to 2000, right? If we pull back and price takes a little bit of a dip on the way down, it could actually offer some support around 1948, something to think about. And again, gold up on the top of our edge finder bias on the buy side, you can see we get a +5, scoring heavily in COT data, retail sentiment, seasonality, the trend, obviously, GDP and unemployment, all favoring more gold upside going into this week. Now, of course, like I said, it could have pullbacks in the interim, in the meantime, but overall, the signal still bullish from last week and the week before. So, anyways, we could take a second here while we're on the page to take a look at what's moving and what's not. You've got AUDUSD, US 30, SPX 500, Euro USD, USO, these things being on the sell side of the edge finder for the time being. You've also got the NASDAQ creeps up in there. You've got CAD yen, pound dollar, pound yen, CAD Swiss. Lots of sells I noticed. The screen is very red, very full of pinkish red color, which is the universal sort of signal of a bearish reading on the edge finder. So it will be interesting to see how this one goes out. And again, only 4 buy signals currently. You've got NZD CAD, gold, USD ZAR, and USD CAD. These are sort of our bullish sentiment items on the list for today's market. So kind of interesting. Good morning to everyone who's joining us. If you're just tuning in, welcome back to another stream. If you're enjoying the content, remember to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, all that good stuff. And an update on my current positions. I'm no longer long dollar yen, but I now have a Euro USD short, which we'll see how this one plays out. We're currently testing levels of resistance around here. We've got the sort of a daily chart view where price kind of was going in this super strong upward trend, right? You had this ginormous run to the upside. Price sort of fell apart, and I've been looking for a chance to get short on the euro. So we broke through and have sort of come back now into this zone where, if you watch my Sunday video, I mentioned I'd be interested in potentially getting short here with a stop above the highs. So if this market rallies, I'll be out of this trade. I'll take a small loss and I'll move on. But I'm trying to see if we can get some sort of rollover in this zone back down to the previous lows, 1.055, and perhaps even beyond, where we marked out this idea longer term of maybe seeing if the dollar does sort of strengthen again, if the euro weakens, maybe a move back down to 1.03. So we'll see how that plays out. Again, there is my current positions. I'm short euro dollar. Let's take another look at some more assets as well. By the way, guys, if you have charts you would like me to pull up, please feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll do my best to get to as many as I can here throughout the stream. I think we should talk about dollar CAD, which is also another one to pay attention to. You can see dollar CAD pulling back to support here today. I actually like this thing on the long side currently. I just already have that Euro USD trade. Now, this is a daily chart, so this is longer term, but you've got some past resistance here, which is held very stubbornly for the bulls. And I'm watching to see if it can hold again, right? The dollar has pulled back. We've got a Fed meeting this week. It's sort of expected that we get a 25 basis point rate hike. This is sort of the consensus. Now, any surprises here will, of course, cause the market to move dramatically on Wednesday. But currently, that's sort of the expectation. We see the dollar in anticipation of that sort of moving down a little bit. Like I said, I think that there may be some pullback opportunities on the 4-hour and daily charts. That's why I'm looking at things like dollar CAD, etc. And also why I think that, some sort of a pullback for gold is probably coming if the dollar sees any strength. So we'll see. And here is, by the way, here's your DXY. Look at the dollar. You can see it is at the very extremes of this support zone. We'll see if the dollar can catch any sort of a rally, any sort of a bid here, but it's not looking too promising at the current price. Let's look at some other charts and see what else we've got here. We've got, like I said, the S&P 500, the indices looking kind of sketchy here. You've got a downward trend. This is a 4-hour chart view. You can see we've got a downward trend going on where, again, each time this thing has rallied, it's made an attempt to rally and then found resistance. Now, currently, we also have a little bit of a higher low concept going on. And watching for a breakout this week could be interesting when looking at something like S&P, NASDAQ, US 30. If we get some sort of breakout to the downside, it's perhaps an interesting one to look to see if it wants to continue short side. That would be my take on it. Again, if it breaks to the upside, we'll reconsider things. I don't love shorting the S&P personally. However, this market just looks very weak and each rally gets sold into. And until that dynamic changes, it's something I'm looking to be more, stay away from the long side, if you will, until something changes. So that's where I'm at with the S&P 500 as well as the NASDAQ. We can also take a look at that and see NASDAQ a little healthier, to be honest, than the S&P 500. We had a big pop last week. Bank stocks took a really big hit, but NASDAQ stocks performed a lot better last week. And so a pullback on this one could actually be interesting to see how the bulls respond. Like I said, technically it looks good, but fundamentally I don't love the NASDAQ either for now. We'll see if that changes. But again, bulls, keep an eye on this technical level, 38.2% retracement off of these lows. Looks kind of interesting for me. So that's NASDAQ 100. By the way, you guys, if you would like access, we do have some free trials available today. If you guys want to access the Edge Finder, if you want to play around with the software, if you think it would be helpful to you, we are doing tours of the Edge Finder. If you want access to that, head over to our website. We're going to drop a link in the chat. If you click this link, it'll take you to our website where you can chat with somebody to access the free trial of our Edge Finder. So if you want the trial, click the link that's just been dropped in the chat, send that message, just send the word trial or ask about the Edge Finder free trial. And one of our team representatives will set you up to check out the software for yourself. Let's take a look at the Smart Money Tracker and see where we're at going into this week. You've got some interesting dynamics here. You've got JPY heavily short, which I think is very interesting considering the yen was quite strong last week. You've also got SPX still in a very short biased camp. You've got the 10-year also in the short bias camp. The Canadian dollar very short, US 30 very short, and Aussie very short. NASDAQ 100, the best of the worst when it comes to indices. You got NAS 100 still short biased overall by big money, but lesser so than perhaps the S&P and the US 30. On the long side, you've got things like gold very heavily long. You've got dollar very heavily long, euro, oil, and JP225. So an interesting dynamic to say the least there. You've got bias. And one thing notably, guys, this is the Japanese stock market as one of the biggest long percentiles compared to the yen currency or the Japanese currency as one of the biggest short bias currencies. Very interesting to see those two extremes. Speaking of those two extremes, let's go take a look at the yen here. Here's the dollar against the Japanese yen. Really has taken a beating recently. I was trying to get some long trades open on this one, but unfortunately just not able to catch any sort of a significant bounce on that one. So dollar yen continues to go down, but let's take a look at some other currency crosses like euro yen, right? Euro yen. And this is interesting because, again, institutional money is very much long this sort of currency pair. Remember, we said euro and USD long by institutional traders, whereas yen very short. It's interesting to see this thing sort of taking such a beating. And in my opinion, there may be some pullbacks on some of the yen crosses. Just so far, we haven't seen any sort of significant rally. Let's go double back and take a look at that gold chart, see how it's going here today. Again, 2000 was breached and then briefly stayed there before selling back underneath. Here's the euro. Again, another one that I have interest in. Currently short biased on this one. We'll see if this one can hold the highs and if we can get some sort of rollover effect, or if it's going to just keep chugging higher. We'll watch that one as well. Hey, Nick, the UBS acquisition of Credit Suisse definitely improves sentiment, but don't you think the whole turmoil might cause the Fed to be a bit more dovish, hence weaker dollar? It's definitely possible. And again, I think that there's a definite case for why the dollar has sort of pulled back. The question is whether or not the Fed is just going to go full blown dovish from here, right? Are they just going to start cutting rates significantly sooner, or is it sort of overestimated? And my opinion is that the hawkish Fed is not gone, and that we may see some of that in the Wednesday meeting. But again, we'll have to see and adjust accordingly. If there's like super dovish conversation from the Federal Reserve on Wednesday, I'll probably be looking to avoid the dollar for the time being. Speaking of other things outside of just the dollar, we've got things like pound yen on a possible sell. You got CAD yen on a possible sell. Pound USD is one I wanted to take a look at as well. Here's GBP USD. Let's pull this one up, see what's going on with the pound. Pound shooting to the upside here today. And this one has been really uninteresting to me for the last few weeks. But with this recent breakout, this is honestly pretty impressive from bulls. You may get some sort of a retracement back into the zone. Perhaps price is headed back to test the previous highs, especially with some of this dollar weakness recently. There's possibility that the pound gets a little bit of a run going here and maybe shoots up to like 1.24 or 25. For the lower time frame traders, again, here is your 1 hour view, a bullish 1 hour chart. We'll see how this thing, if it's able to continue keeping up its speed, regardless, even if you are, bearish on this, you have to respect that this is a pretty strong upward trending chart on the 1 hour for now. So if price is able to sort of break underneath and change directions, that's a different story. But for now, this is not a chart I would be short on myself. Just my take on it. Just looks pretty strong for the time being. So yeah, something to think about for sure. By the way, guys, we are sharing ideas throughout the week. If you're not already inside of our Discord channel, we're going to drop a link in the chat. If you guys would like access to our Discord channel, you can see all the different free analysis posts that we're putting out. We put out analysis throughout the week. Julie does a great job managing that Discord. So if you want access to our Discord for free, we have a free version available now. You can click this link that's just been dropped in the chat. Join that free Discord by clicking that form, filling it out, and it will send you a link to join into the action there. So don't miss out. We cover stuff all throughout the week. We have 2 YouTube channels, this channel and the A1 Trading channel, where we do a lot of news coverage, market coverage, things going on there, which might be helpful to you in your trading. So USD Swiss is another one I want to take a look at. Dollar Swiss really coming down to a support level. We'll see if there's any sort of strike that can be found here around 92.42. Price tagging that here in the early parts of the New York session as we just open up here in the U.S. Stock Exchange. Price finding a lot of pressure to the downside here as we get going. We'll see if that persists or if there's going to be some sort of a bounce back on things like dollar Swiss and gold, etc. Gold, like I said, if the dollar gets weak, gold likely to regain these the lost ground here and perhaps even head right back up to that 2000 mark. And gold has been just such a monster. Again, I mentioned, for those of you who are just tuning in to the stream, I mentioned that price shot up to the 2000 mark and has since really pulled back. And it's going to be an interesting spot for the chart, to say the least, because you've got 2000, right? A key psychological level holding for now. We'll see if that persists. Guys, we're going to take 1 second to now thank our sponsors here. James is going to help us out with that. And James, take it away after you, sir.
Thanks, Nick. Real quick, I want to remind you guys that today's stream is sponsored by 8cap. And 8cap is an award-winning regulated broker that gives traders a better trading experience. If you choose to trade with 8cap, you'll be able to trade CFDs like gold, Forex pairs, cryptos, indices, and more. Additionally, their spreads are razor thin, and they offer up to a 500-to-1 leverage. Their customer support is top-notch, and one very cool feature is that they've recently partnered up with TradingView.com, which means you can do all of your trading through 8cap directly on TradingView. So if you're a fan of the channel, 8cap has partnered up with us here at A1 Trading to offer our community a free copy of the Edge Finder. Yes, you heard that right. You can get the Edge Finder for free, and all you have to do is open up a new trading account with 8cap and deposit $1,000 or more. So click the link in the description to find out more. Chandler just dropped me off this 8cap 8-ball, so I figured we'll go ahead and give it a shake and see what it has to say. Even though this is not real financial advice, we can still see what the 8-ball has to say. It says increase leverage, so we'll see if Nick decides to do anything with that piece of advice. But 8cap is the best in the business, and that is why we are proud to be sponsored by them. Click the link in the description down below to sign up. Thank you, 8cap. Now, Nick, back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, James and Chandler, for that break. Again, check out 8cap if you guys don't already have them. If you don't already have I honestly think they're probably the best out there in terms of brokerages to trade with. If you're in the United States, unfortunately, it's not available to us. But for those of you guys who are not in the US, check out 8cap using the link down below in the description. Here's Australian dollar, US dollar. I actually think that this chart looks really interesting for a possible short. This one also has a sell bias on the Edge Finder. You've got a strong sell bias here at a -6, which is a pretty strong score. If you guys are familiar with the Edge Finder, you know -6 is pretty good. That's a pretty solid bias. COT data points to the sell side. Seasonality points to the sell side. Trend reading, GDP, inflation, and interest rates. What's interesting here is that the Australian dollar, when we pull up the chart, or the Edge Finder bias, you can see that we get a -6, and we're scoring heavily short biased in multiple areas. So you've got things like the COT data, which shows that institutional money is very long the dollar and very short the Australian dollar. And then you take a look at retail sentiment. You've got 56% of retail traders are long, and a minority of 44% are short. So not quite a strong enough thing to give us a bias on that in terms of retail sentiment. For those of you guys who are familiar with the Edge Finder and how it works, you know that we look for 60% bias in order to generate a signal. So for example, if the Australian dollar creeps up to a 60% rating from retail traders, that could clue us in at a possible sell bias, which would give us even more sell bias, right? So the Edge Finder, what it does is it pulls together lots of different data pieces, and it essentially gives us a bias on a particular asset. Anything that you want to look at, for example, if you trade euro, if you trade dollar yen, if you trade the minor pairs, if you trade commodities like gold and indices, these things are all available within the Edge Finder. So anyways, I'm looking at this, I'm saying, okay, dollar is very long biased. Australian dollar, very short biased by big money. This is COT data. This is what the big players are buying and selling. And we can see that when we look at the Aussie dollar, we have a strong preference for the dollar. Now, economic figures also very heavily favor the dollar. We've got GDP growth favoring the US, inflation favoring the US, unemployment favors Australia, but interest rates favor the US. So a whopping majority favors the US dollar, which gives us that overall buy the dollar, sell the Australian dollar bias. Again, guys, if you want access to the Edge Finder, we're going to drop a link to chat with us real quick. You can check out you can take a tour of the Edge Finder if you want to try yourself. Just click the link that's being dropped in the chat, and it will open up a prompt where you can have a conversation with one of our support reps here at A1 Trading. We build trading software. That is what the company does. We focus on building tools and indicators and metrics for traders to give them more insights. So if you want access to that, click that link and you can chat with us there, and one of our support reps will hand you a copy to try out. So check it out. And again, Aussie dollar, if it does get a little bit of speed going up into like the 38.2% retracement, I think there may be something to be said for possible short bias trades coming into play around that 38.2. Looking for continuation overall to the downside. And it's been sort of this series of lower highs kind of thing. And so if it does poke back up into this zone, I would imagine we get some sell reaction. So we'll see. And again, a big week for the dollar with Wednesday's Federal Reserve meeting being a big deal. And we'll see if that plays out going forward, or how that plays out going forward, whether we get a more hawkish Federal Reserve or a less hawkish Federal Reserve. Both are on the table. And again, right now, the dollar taking a beating here this morning, still selling off. And today's daily candle not looking super promising for the dollar bulls for now. We've completely erased this entire uptick that we had. Prices back down to the lows, probably in anticipation for that Fed meeting that we have on Wednesday. Euro NZD, can you take a look? I'll take a look. I don't think I have anything in terms of actual buy or sell bias when looking at Euro NZD. It's not even on the list here today. And again, that means that if it's not on the list, what that means is it's in the neutral category. I like to just turn off the neutral categories so that, we don't get ourselves confused. So you can see Euro NZD has a 0, which means that we have indicators pointing towards buys and towards sells, which leaves me saying, I don't want to trade it at all. So a Euro NZD, is technically in neutral. So I wouldn't be placing any trades on Euro NZD personally. Now, again, this chart is super back and forth. We've got support here. We've got resistance up top. So for this chart, like I said, there's really not too much of interest here. Now, if things get bearish enough to really see the Euro NZD fall apart, if we get underneath these lows kind of thing, that's a different story. You maybe have a nice trend to start jumping into, but for now, it's very possible this thing could just trend back up and continue to sort of chop back and forth. So my take on this would be to just sort of avoid this this chart and look for trades instead that have some sort of confirmation, some sort of bias from the edge finder. So, of course, I'm speaking with bias. This is the indicators, the tools that we use to find trades. And so I am going to probably avoid neutral pairs in general. NZD CAD, a new one to pop up on the list. Let's go take a look at NZD CAD and see what's going on with this chart. You've got here NZD CAD as a possible buy signal, +4. Where's it scoring high? And it's scoring high in retail sentiment, seasonality, trend reading, and the economics are mixed. So let's go take a look at NZD CAD and see if there's anything here. And we'll start fresh. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. So here's what I like about this chart. You've got lows coming in, higher lows kind of stuff, and now even retesting a level of support. So this signal just popped up on the Edge Finder. Now, if you're newer to using the Edge Finder, for those of you guys who are familiar, you know that the Edge Finder pointing something bullish does not mean like, oh, that means buy it instantaneously right now. It means, okay, the indicators that we look at, all of these across the top, are pointing towards bullishness. Now it's up to you to sort of use your technical trading to find opportunities. Now, granted, I really like this as a possible pullback buy. You've got the 38.2% retracement coming into play, and you've got the 50% just below it. So if price sort of, as it sits around this area, price hovers into the 50% zone, this actually looks like a nice buy opportunity, in my personal opinion, looking for a continuation on this overall trend on NZD CAD. And the CAD has been really weak, guys. We've seen the Canadian dollar just get smashed recently, which is driving some counter currencies like NZD to really run strong. So I actually like that one on the long side. So yeah, pullbacks into the 38.2, 50%. This zone here on the lower time frames, there could be some opportunities. If I take that trade, you guys will see it inside of our Discord channel. And if you're not inside of our Discord channel, we dropped a link earlier, but you can join our Discord by clicking the link that's being dropped in the chat box. Now, if you're with us here on YouTube live, there's a chat box you can open up, whether it's, if you're on the computer, it's to your right. If you're on your mobile device, it's below you, it's lower than the screen. Just open that up, click that link, fill out that form, takes 2 seconds, and you can join our Discord for free. So there you go. What happened to USDJPY? I got stopped out on dollar yen. So I'm out of dollar yen for now. I don't really see much optimism going forward for dollar yen. Like I said, my thought process was off the daily chart. We had this broken downward structure, right? Price shoot to the upside. And on the retest, I took one and a second attempt to go long. Both of them did not work out. So I'm out of the dollar yen idea for now. we'll see if anything else presents itself. But I just don't love the way I was expecting sort of these levels here. You can see my first trade went into profit and then came back to break even. My second trade initially went into profit and then eventually fell apart here on the open this morning. So I'm out of that trade with a loss. So we'll see if we can find something else. Pound USD. We looked at pound dollar briefly. You can see price intraday is actually testing this really previous high right there, 1.2257. We'll see if this can this level can hold. But like I said, I think for the pound dollar bulls, a promising start here with a break above the previous high coming into play here this morning. If you get some sort of pullback, this is your 4-hour chart. If you get some sort of pullback continuation, there's that opportunity. Like I said, if you're short long bias technically. Now, I'm actually more short bias on the pound. However, not when the price is doing stuff like this. For me, the pound USD would be a short if it started to break out to the downside. But right now, not touching it with the short side. One interesting one would be to look at euro pound. So euro pound, an interesting factor. So you've got the euro pound has been really choppy and not any sort of decisiveness from the edge finder. I believe euro pound is not even on the list. Yeah, no, it's not. So we don't have any actual bias, but I thought this was kind of interesting. You've got this chart range bound, and of the two, it seems that the pound is definitely the leader right now. Now, of course, dollar weakness will cause both to rise, but when comparing one against the other, euro, GBP, it's interesting to see that the euro is sort of getting the short end of the stick for now, and we'll see if that plays out further. If price is able to break and continue to the downside, might generate some sort of signals on the edge finder, but for now, just too mixed to actually trade this one. Just thought it was interesting to compare the euro versus the pound specifically. So we'll bring in Frank for a second. We'll see what he's got to say, and then we'll go to Ivan after him. So, Frank, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's your what's on the list today?
It's kind of the same thing as last week. It's a little weird to say, but I'm still long dollar and S&P. Dollar's more so like long term. I took an open or an entry on UJ this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at just kind of the week ahead, and I'm pretty sure with some confidence or a lot of confidence, I mean, I can say that I think the Fed is going to raise rates again. And Wall Street is saying like, it's going to be damaging to the economy and stuff, but with like the banking crisis. But I think that they're pretty adamant about like keeping that inflation rate, like keeping it down, and any kind of like halt in that is just going to kind of screw up their forecast. So if they plan to raise rates, I think they're going to do it. So I'm long dollar, but I'm also trying to catch a swing on equities. So I took a trade on the S&P. Let me retype that. But this is what I'm seeing on the 4-hour. So looking at this break above, huge rejection on the 4-hour time frame. So just kind of looking around at potential swing trades and intraday trades. So I think the S&P is going to be a day trade for me.
Yeah, and you've had that one. Did you open a trade today, or were you still holding the one from last week?
No, I had a couple open last week. I took a loss on one, broke even on another, and then I opened one this morning before the bell opened. So
Gotcha. Yeah, no, and I'm kind of with you on the dollar idea. We've got the Federal Reserve coming in on Wednesday, and I think that the sentiment is incredibly like dovish. Like people, yes, 25 basis points is likely what's going to come out, but people are expecting just a quick shift in the narrative from the Federal Reserve. I think that inflation thing is still going to be their predominant target. So we'll have to see how that plays out. If the dollar is oversold, we'll see. Like I said, you and I are both betting that there could be some sort of bounce on the dollar, and we'll have to watch out for that going into the remainder of the week. You've got dollar CAD. Are you still in that trade?
I might have stopped out. That was kind of a big fall this morning, right underneath support. So maybe I could still be hovering in, but either I'm barely in or I'm stopped out.
Yeah.
Kiwi yen looks kind of bullish too. Basically, like yen in general is looking like it's getting weaker because it had a crazy week last week. Swiss yen tanked, but we're starting to see a lot of like key support levels and rejection off those lows. So I'm kind of looking at short yen too.
Yeah, that's an interesting side as well. I mentioned earlier that in terms of institutional COT stuff from the Edge Finder, the yen is actually the #1 shorted asset on the list, which is very, very interesting to me. In fact, last week we had some yen strength come in, and yet
Right.
the latest COT data showed an uptick even in short interest on the institutional data. So very, very curious to see how that plays out going into this week. Frank, thank you for sharing. I got to move on and now bring in Ivan here after you. So thank you for
Sounds good.
coming on to the show, and we'll see you back next time.
Thanks.
All right. All right, now we got to come right back in and say hello to Mr. Eivindfx. What's up, Ivan? How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
I like
And
the
you?
sunglasses, man. You're rocking them. How have things been going? What's the latest in terms of markets? What are you looking at?
Losses. What
Same.
what
I've
what,
been,
what
I've been
else?
in a
Last
losing
one?
streak recently as well. What are you been trading?
Well, I was shorting euro dollar at 106.20, 107, and probably 106.80 or something like that, and I'm out.
Gotcha.
So controversial opinion. I think dollar's going to weaken. Cheers
Yeah,
to that,
it'll
Frank.
be interesting to see. I think, I've seen all sorts of, like, it's all over the place. The market is very like, the market is like trying to say like, okay, it's going to be big rate hikes by the end of the year, and other people are saying it's going to stay steady. And really an interesting dynamic with this introduction of bank collapses and such recently. If you want to share your screen, we can take a look at whatever you've got pulled up, and then
I just want to arrest you, like whoop whoop, because police is coming now. Because it is not as you say, Nick. It is not like, oh, what is going on? What's going on? It's very day to day. We are changing. We just have to follow the changes every single day. What has the Fed done? They've taken away the risk because they paid out the debitors in SVB. But if a bank now falls, Fed is going to save us. Great.
right.
And then they open up the swap lines from weekly to daily. They're going to save us. They're going to save us. They're going to save us. And now they're saying, well, everything is great. There's nothing wrong. But, they're doing measures. So everything is going to be well. The perceived risk is being taken up in the market. And that's why you're seeing euro dollar going higher. Also, dollar is ground zero in the banking crisis. So that you would imagine, at least at that point, that people will be afraid to invest in dollar.
Yep.
So
No, it makes sense. And I think that's what, it's such an interesting dynamic, because you have, like I said, you have the bank collapses going on. You have the fear around that, but then also the Federal Reserve saying, hey, we'll paper over that, we'll print. And I made a video on Saturday, Ivan, of just I pulled up the chart of the Fed's balance sheet, which I'm not sure if you saw that. It shot to the upside just suddenly after months of just steady decline to sort of cover the situation. That's the thing where I think they make a really good case for bullish case on gold, is you have a lot of fear around whether or not that whole concept is going to work out or not. People potentially hedging their dollars with the gold rally. So an interesting one to watch for sure.
It is. And the thing is, so what is the rules of what has happened now? Okay, so dollar fell because risk has been taken out. Gold rises because dollar is falling, also risk is going to gold. Yen has increased because risk is going there. Bitcoin has risen because the risk or people fly there. Now, what is the point here? Swissy is weak because people are flying out of Switzerland. People are flying out of dollar. What then? So just take a screenshot right now of what is currently happening in the market. That is the what do you call it? The snapshot of the crisis response of the market currently, and it is not different from COVID. I'm just telling you about this. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah, no, and like I said, it's an interesting. I think that in terms of, I saw this funny tweet on Friday. It was this guy who was just tweeting out. He says, "Breaking news: the market is confused as hell," and I just thought it was funny because I was like, that seems to be somewhat accurate. But Ivan, if you guys, if you have not already checked out Ivan's content before, he's got his own YouTube channel. We're gonna drop the link to his channel if you'd like to check him out. He has his own commentary. He's what I appreciate about having Ivan on the show is he's a fundamental trader as well. We talk what's going on with central banks and such, and I think that YouTube really lacks that because everyone loves the technical charts. We try and get into the whys of what the market's actually doing. So check out Ivan's channel if you haven't already. I'm going to back out and give Ivan the floor for a little bit. Thank you for coming on, man, and we will see you back on the next show.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. So, parties in the house, people. Okay, I've seen some requests. Who was requesting first? Jordan. Out of the only thing that I see Jordan, Peter, asked about pound yen. He was the first one I saw. Okay, so we will go through that. Okay, we'll go through that one by one. Nothing else. All right, cool. So we're gonna get your request. Get them down in the comment section, whatever that is on your screen, whatever, and I will go through them systematically one by one. But mostly, I've already told you what I think. Dollar weakness, is that fundamentals? Is that news? Is that what it is? It is just what the market does to you. Okay. Now the question is, how long is the crisis going to be? I don't know, but there is a couple of buts around here. So, first one, if we hit weekly target early in the week, what is going to happen? Deep pullback. And I warned you guys last week because we were at the bottom here last week, and I said, this is an out. And unbelievable, it went up 365 pips. Whatever, I didn't tell you guys, did I? Now with FAL, okay, risk is there. We are a bit, ranging on pound yen. What is the direction it's supposed to go in? Down. I'm sorry, down. If you want to buy it, take it up with the market makers. Take a walk in the forest and come back when it does go higher. Do you have a higher high? No, you don't. Who says you're short? Dijin, I think that's a very bad idea, but I'm going to go over to that later on. So until you have technical analysis, and you can say I'm new to the payment points, whatever, I don't care. There's no higher highs here, so that supports a bullish move. So I have made some lines last week. I'm going to take everything away. I'm going to do a fresh analysis. The fresh analysis is that it's the previous low making resistance. That is the previous high you need to go above. And that's how simple trading can be. So where's the price going to go? I don't know. I literally do not care. But what I do care about is where's your entry. Have you sold already this morning? Did you lose on pound yen selling? If you sure did so, you are doing something wrong. I'm very controversial. But because if you sold resistance either here or here and not micro down here, you should be in a pretty good place. And was this resistance known to you? Yes, it was, because that is the previous support turning resistance. What about if price went up here? Same situation. You sell only resistance. And if you sold down here, I must say, we have work to do. All right? Okay, cool. ASR says a New Zealand dollar. I've already mentioned to you. I will go through it. Okay, cool. Chill. I'll say next. Cisco says it's been frustrating not getting a trade with indices. The whole bag panicking things has to conclude soon. That is your wish, but don't think it. Read the trader mindset, by the way. You can only trade what is currently happening in the market. The market is currently reacting to the current news. You could say what you want to do, but I would say that's a minimizing mindset, because you're not taking advantage and opportunity of the current market. Meaning that if you think that S&P is going to go higher for whatever reason. What are you waiting for? You're waiting for the Fed to come in and say, hey, we're going to save you, which they did. And if you think that, oh, it's going to go fall, it's going to fall because of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, bank A, B, C, D is going to crash, or bank go bankrupt, whatever, just wait for your resistance. Just wait for your opportunity. This is very simple, very straightforward. It isn't difficult. Okay? Now leave the crap out. Leave whatever feelings is whatever feelings we have, because I feel like we are a bit too emotional here. Generally in this class, we have, I feel this, I feel that. Okay, so what do you feel? Fine, good, feel it. But don't let it go over to your trading, which some cases it does lead to FOMO. It does lead to greed. It does lead to early entries. It does lead to selling at 1060. I bet you this thing that somebody did sell at 160. I'm thinking this is going to fall. So what I want you to say here is 162, great sell. Current price, great sell. A bit low, but okay. Targeting 56, 70. Done, dusted. Nothing else. Okay, got it. Good on you. So, are you okay with that, Jordan? Is that a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Then I'm going to do New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Currently making higher highs and higher lows. Does that go well with your dollar bullish move, or a New Zealand dollar falling? No, it is not. It is definitely 100% only buyers who's allowed to be in this market right now. Can you sell it? No. Why would you sell it? Why are you risking your pensions for nothing? So, what is going on here? There's no lower lows. There's only higher highs. So, if you're a seller, get out of here. If you bought it, good on you. And I saw Mr. Italiano asked me, should I buy New Zealand dollar? And I said, yeah, good up. Thumbs up. Okay, cool. What does that mean? That means that you don't look for bullishness on New Zealand dollar. Does that mean that it's going to go higher? No, but currently it's bullish. Your fundamentally, your risk, the current reaction in the market is bullish for New Zealand dollar. And you can argue with me until you become blue, purple, and red, or yellow for that matter. That's just a market reaction. So if you want to sell this thing, you need to break below, I don't know, below 163, 63.40 is the target. You need to break below 61, maybe 161. That is 150 pips away. So until then, you have a holiday. Good on you. Starting in 159. Did I say 159? I think I said one. This is, I think I said 157 on you. Okay. Sold 161.25. Good on you. Bit of small loss there. That is that. Cool. Gold is shorting during pullback. Gold short during pullback. Okay, cool. That is totally up to you. Nothing else. Cool. So you say euro dollar short, Mr. Dijon. Okay. What supports that theory? Is there resistance? Is it trend? What is your strategy? So I want us as a community of absolutely great traders acknowledge what is happening around you. Don't be a goldfish. Don't be a ostrich. Don't put your hand in the sand. But how you react to it is going to define you as a trader. Okay, number one, if you see opposite news or opposite moving direction of what you would imagine would be great, okay, cool. You don't trade. If you see that market is going in your direction, cool. Or if you see information going in your direction, cool. But currently, market is against you. Thank you very much, Angelo, for the $5. Absolutely appreciate it. Please add the D on the end as well next time. That's all. That's all I have to say there. Cool. So, and then this one. Cool. Now have both screens up and running. Cool. Now, sorry for not saying that early enough. That is my bad. Moving over. Can you short your dollar? Absolutely, if that is your strategy. But I would warn every single one of you. I do not agree with that setup. I do not agree with that kind of a direction because we should sell 107. We're currently in a range, and then range rules comes in, and I don't do well in ranges. So whatever that means for you, that is that. So for me, it's not. There is no short on euro. This might be a buy above 105, 107.5. Sorry, if you're a dollar bear. But here, that is that direction. Okay. Thank you. You're all good. Good today. The next question I have for you two guys today is, where are you guys from? You know, it's not fact. It's not to have you guys activated around me, but sorry, it's not for you to be. It's not against me. I'm just literally wondering, where are you guys from? Where? What kind of demographics do we have in this class? Are we intermediate traders? Are we basic traders? Are we expert traders? Where do we put the list here? Do we cover basics in terms of this is range, or is this overall not bearish anymore? Or do we talk about all the fundamentals, which is what is currently going to happen next in the banking market, in the Forex market, in the bond market, and are they about to crash or not? And if they are about to crash, what do we do in that instance? And the answer to you is actually in the charts today. It has nothing to do with my opinion. It has nothing to do with my success. It has nothing to do with what I've done before. So if you see a certain behavior in the market, that's what's going to happen going forward. So yeah, another one, US30, what I asked for earlier, and then cool, good. What is your Nasdaq and US30? I think they're going to fall. Sorry. How is that going to go? That's a difficult one. So US30 has been asked for, and my brain kind of goes up in flames at the moment because the dollar, the Fed saving the market and taking away the risk should be bullish, but the recession and the fear and everything crashing is dollar is the US30, Dow Jones, Nasdaq falling. So where is the sum? Where is the tipping of the scale? And I think that is very important to note. It is very news based, day to day based, but in the end, it's going to lead to dollar. It's going to lead to stock market higher. I just don't know, and I just don't know currently if there's going to be a 20% fall before that. Meaning, if we crash the market, if banks are going bankrupt, if tech companies are going to go bankrupt every single day, left, right, and center, a very issue. But until this one, as long as this one, Da 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 da. Okay, cool. Safe haven, present, share screen, hand screen, cool, good. I'm back in business at least. If not, am I back or not? And that's the only question I have for myself. Hi. Okay, cool. So we start again then. Fine. Or not? Yeah, cool. So that was that. That was either if this continues with bank crisis, this is gonna fall until we stop doing that and Feds comes in and says, "Hey, we're gonna continue higher." Okay, cool, good. Meaning that I would allow you to have a bullish direction here, given that there's no more collapses. That there is constantly reassurance that we are not going to crash anymore. Move over. That what is currently going to happen on Wednesday is a mystery box. Okay? The mystery box is there. And I don't know what we are going to do on Wednesday because it all depends on bankruptcies. Currently, the market is pricing in. The currently is market pricing in 50-50. Oh, that was earlier. Sorry, my bad. They were pricing in 50-50 earlier today, at least. Maybe I haven't updated it. Just want to make sure I do that. On if it's no rate hike and one rate hike, so it's going back to one rate hike. Okay, cool. Whatever. Is that good or is that bad? It is what it is. So that means one rate hike. Does that mean that we're going to peak interest rates? That thing there can change very fast if there is more trouble. So that is the place to be, and you're going to see that in the dollar. You're going to see that in the market. You're going to see it everywhere else. Okay? I'm just pointing that one out. Cool. Good. So, NASDAQ. Bullish until there's more until there is more bankruptcies in banks and going over or fear of that. That's the only way. That's the only thing that's going to make this one fall now. That is the current picture at the moment. That is what's driving the price. CPI doesn't. Interest rate do somehow something. So just keep yourself in the loop on the internet. Hi, I'm just confused. What is making the market having mixed sentiment? Aha! Very good, Tom. First of all, second of all, third of all. One, some believe there's going to be more crisis. There's going to be more bankruptcies. On the other side, people say, "Oh, Fed is saving us." And those are two very conflicting directions because that can lead to higher stock market, a lower dollar. And the one that I think Fed is going to save us. And if you think it's going to be more crisis, that's going to lead to lower stock market, higher dollar prices, or lower dollar prices, high yen prices, and risk, and everything is going to crash and everything's going to die. Okay? So those are two very different. Why are you blurring my finger, please? That is true. Conflicting views on the market and very much valid, by the way. Okay. Can you please check your dollar? Have already done that. So do you think that the cashless idea the government wants to pressure us will impact a Forex Nikkei? No. Yes, sorry. To an extent. But no. It is too much money in the system to be able to even comprehend there's so much cash in the system that it doesn't change us yet. Cashless? Wait, cashless at the end? No, cashless is here. Cashless is here for a long time. Take M-Pesa in Kenya. We have Venmo in America. We have Vipps in Norway. We have cashless systems. Everything is going digital. So yeah. Okay, so that is that. USD yen. Or what? Okay, so what somebody said. Okay, I'm going back in chat. I just got chat back. So New Zealand dollar is actually bearish. I'm in profit now. I completely disagree with you, but that's up to you. Can you check out USD yen, also dollar? Somebody's from Miami, Algeria, Malaysia, South Africa, North Africa, Italia, Ireland, Brazil, Congo. Okay, Kenya, American and Turkey. Okay, all right, cool, and that's all India as well. Okay, use the yen, and I then go over to I will go over to what I will do as a trader. Okay, use the yen. I don't know when I made this thing, but that seems to be a millimeter off, a couple of millimeters off. Sorry about that. I wasn't too far on, but I was right about the place it falls down to. That means dollar weakness, yen strength. Okay, that is going to continue. Can somebody tell me why that's going to continue? Because that is the current flow of money. Not only does the actual USD yen is lower, but dollar weakness, yen strength is what you should expect in this kind of constellation of a market. So you can go back to 24th of February 2022. What did we do in that situation? So somewhere here. Okay, cool. Okay. In that constellation, the market is range bound until it flies off. That is the crisis response when Russia invades Ukraine. Okay. What about COVID then? So that's a range bound direction. What about COVID then? Initially, dollar got strong, and then it fell. Okay, and then it rose again. Okay, and then it fell, but mostly range bound. When it comes to crisis response, USD yen is the worst one to pick, generally speaking, I would say. And yes, there is a large moves here, but they're not as large as on an Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar. When you look at New Zealand dollar from the same time period, and I said that the reaction was range bound. Well, if you look at New Zealand, February 24th. Oh, Steam, shut up. It is the initial reaction is actually lower, and then it rises. Okay, initial reaction lower, and then it rises. Okay, what about COVID? Initial reaction falls, then rises. Does that leave us with some kind of answers here? It sure does leave us with answers. That is how the market has responded to the past two crises. And what does it do this time around? Got it later or anything? Initial reaction is falling and then rising. And I didn't do analysis. I didn't tell you. So if you want to buy New Zealand dollar, sure. If you want to sell it, okay, cool, okay, do it. But I don't see any reversal patterns here. I just see a peak. So if you want to buy it, cool. That's gonna be alright. That's kind of what I would actually advocate for. Cool. Does EMA works in Forex? Yeah, pretty good. Are tools and indicators necessary to use in Forex? No, not really, but I do. And so forth. Pound cat for 2 milliseconds. Who is it? It is the 254 clan. Pound cat. Okay. 2 milliseconds is enough. Currently bullish. Did not come down to central. Did not come deep enough to buy. Target is 68.35. And that's what I kind of would say. Wait for it to come back down to 66.67 and then higher. That's the only thing I have to say there. Okay, thank you very much. So what am I going to do this week then? What am I going to trade? Am I going to sell? Am I going to sell? What do you call it? Where is it? Am I going to sell Swiss yen? That was a great trade, wasn't it? It was. It sure was. We passed through targets and whatever. Right now we're having a pullback. Why are we having a pullback on Swiss yen? Why are we having a pullback on yen pairs in total? Why is there a pullback? Somebody give me an answer there. Why would yen pairs pull back? Because there is optimism in the market that we are going to be saved, which will lead to that. But also, ultimately, the other side is there is no new news. There is no new bad news. There is nothing out there that is telling us, well, we should probably be fearful. So optimism returns. That's why it is very dangerous to sell the lowest lows, like here. And as I mentioned earlier on pound yen, down here. And now is probably a better price. What about a euro yen? Is that a good trade? Technically, yeah. Yesterday was a good trade. Selling the close there. That's probably the open. That was a good trade. Is it a great trade now? I don't like how much it pulled back. So my overall direction is still down. I just don't like the pullback. I can probably sell it, but it doesn't give me nice endorphins. Okay. What about CAD yen then? Can we sell it? Can we sell this one? Not really, but maybe. Okay. What about it? Is it at resistance? Has it hit target? Has it hit? Has it come back up to a selling pivot to sell off for this week? Has it come up to resistance to sell? It came up to central. Okay. Okay. What about now? Yeah, it's an aggressive entry. It's a number 0 trade. It's almost no trade, but fair enough. You can look for a sell. You can look for a sell, and you can probably look for a sell as well, as long as it doesn't go above 97.50. So that's when you're going to see from me. You're probably going to see a sell there. Oh. What are you seeing in this market? Is this a good trend? No, not really at all. And the reason for that is that the pullbacks are so deep. The pullbacks are so deep. So I would love to have sold this one. But the pullbacks are so deep. That means that whatever pushed it down is no longer able to push it down as much as it was supposed to do. But yeah. Okay. So can we look at some prices on euro yen? 141.50, 142.80, and that's a lot of pips up there. But I have almost like a new high and then a reversal before falling again. Kind of. Is that a thumbs up there? Is that good enough for you guys? Not good enough. Is that a safe? Is that a thumbs up there? Because that's what I generally would have done in this situation. Is there any indicators that easily identify higher highs and lower lows? No. Okay, lows and highs. There probably is, but why do you need that? Because that's your skill. That is your
analysis to a market, as your value to the market. You decide what's a low and what's a high. The market doesn't, because the market can make a lot of highs and a lot of lows, and they're pretty bad. They're not very relevant. So you have to select which highs and which lows are relevant for your trading. Nobody can teach you, or can teach you that, but the market doesn't. Indicators doesn't. You are the expertise there. If you're going to be an expert, if you're not going to be an expert trader, and you can't identify higher highs and higher lows, or lower lows and lower highs, well, can I just make a bot out of you then? Because I could probably do it. So what I mean is, strive for excellence. Okay? Always strive for excellency. And when it comes to certain things you need to do yourself, is because why am I paying you out of my own pocket to trade? Why? And I would call that basic. Okay? If you can't do the basic as a trader, why am I paying you? So if I have a fund of $100 million, I'm not going to invest in you as a trader, and I'm going to say, trade for me. And you use indicators to identify highs and lows, so you are fired the first day. Sorry. But then you're not an expert. Strive for excellency. Strive so you are, one, the best in class. Two, you understand everything that's happening around you. And three, you're identifying highs and lows so you can get out of the trades at the correct time, at the correct highs and the correct lows. And you understand the market moves. You understand what it takes. That's what I'm paying for. And I would love to pay you for that. But you also then need to subsequently be an expert. Because if you are a nurse and I tell you to trade the market, can you do that? Does your training tell you to trade markets when you're a nurse? No. Do I go to a lawyer to ask for lawyer things? Yes. I don't ask myself because I'm not a lawyer. Okay. And do I go to economists to ask for economist things? No, I do not. Why would I? I am on myself. So, yeah, it triggered me a bit. I'm sorry, but just be an expert. You do that yourself. And as much as it's difficult and hard and take a long time to understand and whatever the market does to you, it's the reward afterwards. Because if I'm going to pay you money to trade, you better be an expert. Thumbs up? Good. What time frame do you identify higher highs and higher and lower lows? 4 hour. What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm not smiling? Look. Somebody saw I was triggered. So they're like, Ivan, smile. Okay, fine. All right. What time frame do you use? Better phrase. I use 4 hour. As you can see here, I am on the 4 hour, and you can see it here. I'm on the 4 hour. Okay, cool. And the Kenyan clan, I've already done it. So go back, rewind. Already done it. So I don't know whether you're coming back about that. So cool. Rewind. Hello, Guntense. Gunsa, maybe it's right. There's one more question I wanted to ask. I'm from Barbados. I've been learning for trading for 2 years, 6 months and going. Pretty good, Ruben. Pretty good. What about gold? Okay, so do we have a gold? What do we call it? Gold train. Do we have a gold train? I'm sorry. Gunsa. Honse. You don't say the G? Okay. Sorry then. My bad. Sorry, mate. You can probably massacre me, but okay. Sorry. how do you say it? Hashtag gold diggers. If you want me to do gold, do hashtag gold diggers. And if very few people do it, I will not do it. Okay. I've been told to work. Okay, stop playing. Okay, I will take off my glasses. Then now we are serious. Okay, so welcome everyone to this stream. This is from now on, we're only going to work and be serious, and we're not going to tell any more jokes. If you feel like telling a joke, tell me in the comment section so I can laugh off camera. Sorry for hitting the microphone. And this is only serious stuff now. Okay, so number 1, no laughing. Number 2, we work. So Australian dollars, US dollar. And I just, I see you guys are going to do gold. We're going to do gold afterwards. But US dollar, Australian dollar, US dollar. So what do you want to see here right now? You currently have, I would say, a reversal. Okay? If you want a reversal into a bullish trend, what do you do as a seller? You get out. Okay? Cool. Good. If you're then a buyer on this asset and you're thinking, hey, I want to get out a good entry. 66.70 was a good entry this morning. We don't have that price anymore. If it does go down there again, you can probably buy it again. But what you most importantly want to have going forward is a new higher high and higher low, continuation of trend. Though that is higher entry, meaning you would have a higher risk of stop loss, but that is built into your trading, and you probably put your stop loss at 66.60. That is okay, completely okay, and you put yourself in a great position by taking the buy there, and you're thinking, hey, where is the target going to be? The target is going to be a bit higher, around 68, give or take. Okay, and if you do think so, that 68 is a good target. That is where you put your limit order, the target, the TP on. Secondly, you also have another order on this trade if you think it's going to go further than 68. If you think that this crisis is going to be resolved and we're going to have lower interest rate and we're going to see this one going high, you have 2 orders on. One takes a profit at 67.83, and the next one you put that one to break even. Continuation until whatever happens, until you see news that we no longer are in content with the bullish direction on Australian dollar, US dollar. You have Fed on Wednesday that is going to pose a risk to you, either bullish or bearish. So the question for you, are you going to buy it? Are you not going to sell it? Or what are you going to do? Are you allowed to sell 67, give or take? And I would say no. Why? Because you don't have continuation of trend on the 4 hour anymore. You have, I would say, a C trade here. Whereas a C trade or a third trade, it's a C trade is kind of the last resort before we go bullish. You are in much allowed to sell it, but it's a very little limit order, very little lot size, because you have a high chance in this situation to hit your loss. Now, is that something you prefer to take this trade? Fine, fair enough. You don't have a higher high. You have a high on 4 hour. We actually have a higher high. We don't have, you don't have 2 higher highs on the 4 hour. But this one, at it stands right now, looks like it's going to go higher. Though there is one thing: news. Be updated on news on Financial Juice or whatever your news source is, to make sure you look for 3 different things. 1, what the Fed says. Number 2, what SMB says. And number 3, for any banks going bankrupt, any large corporation going bankrupt, or anything that would change the money flow, or even ECB says is going to change the money flow of the market currently. Okay. This means that whatever you do now, you have a bit of ice in your tummy, and you think that, what is going to happen next? I don't know what's going to happen next, but the technical analysis tells me A, B, C, D. That fits my plan A, B, C, D. And if it doesn't, get out
Wait until tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow provides you with a better plan. Okay, thank you. So gold. Once you have done gold and you have understood that that is the key driver of gold at the moment is the risk in the market. And when that one goes away, this is going to fall like a ton of bricks and you haven't seen in life. Okay? So, are we going to invest in gold at this current point? Is this just a small part of the bigger moves, or is this actually the peak? So let us have an explanation here. Currently, we have risen very fast, very quickly over the last 2 weeks. So it's a news move. When news moves hit monthly targets, that is not a guarantee that we're going to continue higher, but that is a risk for us to do a fall, because we want almost to 2018, which is an aggressive target for the market for the month. So if there's no new news, this one is now going to fall. As a buyer, you are late. And you're thinking, if you're going to buy here, that is the number one reason. If you think that it is okay to buy here, that's the number one reason why you're losing money. Number two, the only thing you can do now going forward is momentum trading. If you have profitability in momentum trading, you know very much with yourself that you need higher highs and higher lows. So you're probably going to buy if it does that and then comes back, and that is the only time you're allowed to buy. The current price, that is not a momentum trade. Currently, we are falling down, which would be great to trade on an average, but we don't have an average market. We have a very aggressive market. So if you're going to continue buying it, look for higher highs and higher lows. If you are thinking this would fall like a ton of bricks, you are in for quite a ride either way. When was the best price time to buy gold? That was around 7th or 8th of March. Did I know that? No. Should I know? Probably. But that doesn't take the fact away from the current. The current is we're too high or high. And if we're going to continue higher, our rule says that we are only going to buy support after a high. That is the only thing, okay? Straightforward, nothing else. Cool? Thumbs up on that. So if you want to sell it, sure, do it without my blessing, without my consideration, without my green light. If you're going to buy it, you need to have a higher high. And currently, that is going to be a very big trade. Does that fit your current account? Does current market, is it better to wait a week or two when everything has cooled down? Is it better to wait until you have one, better liquidity in your account? Number two, do you have what it takes mentally? Because I think that most of those traders who's trading gold and losing money are so pumped up by emotions. In my experience, like, oh, the gold is going higher, we're going higher. It is not worth it to crash your account on gold. But if you do want to, that is the direction you want to go in. Okay? I have done the pound cat earlier. The 254 clan. Rewind the video. USD please. I have. Yeah, my jokes are actually everybody else's trading history. And Ari, I'm waiting for yours if you want me to put that out there. So yeah. So you can also become a part of the laughing stock. What is about a USSR? Shouldn't this one be bullish? Well, it has been for quite some time. Why would USSR be bullish in this direction? Because emerging markets are getting scrutinized by the strong dollar. And it doesn't go better with a banking crisis where they're getting their money from. America and Europe. So this is going to continue rising. I don't have any good entries for you, but yeah, it's 1820, or a new higher high. something like that. 1845, something like that. Are you all right with that? Isn't Australian dollar bearish? Not anymore. It was until today, I think. So Australian dollar, just going back to that for a very few milliseconds until I'm over with it. It was bearish until where is it? Until that candle there. When we broke there, that's where we stopped being bearish. Though we can still fall. Don't take my word for it. But the chances for a bullish move just increase. We are bullish technically now. We can still fall in the bullish trend, but it's way less likely. Okay, thank you. I'm going back to USSR. So emerging markets getting scrutinized, which in the end, and also there was some. So there was some demonstrations in Australia, no, in South Africa, and then you have load shedding, and then you have lack of economic performance, and you have probably recession, as far as I know. So this is going to go fall for some time more. So the only direction is bullish. Is the current price good enough? No, it's not good enough. It is a higher high. So you either think down to 80.40 or 80.10 and then 18.10 and then higher. Or if you do higher high, pull back, something like that in that direction. That is South Africa for you. And I am at least up to date with those kind of few things. Okay, cool. So moving ahead. Is there any other things that I haven't mentioned yet that you want me to mention? Is there any other assets that I haven't mentioned that you haven't done yet? There, I will do one last one. Oil. Oil in this case, in this scenario, should, at least in the beginning, fall. And it sure does. And I think it's going to continue falling until it hits the target. And that target is probably somewhere close to being hit. Okay? Yeah, way above. So as long as it's bearish, you can sell it. And if it goes higher, don't blame me for it, I guess. So I'm just going to go back to, is anybody home? Is there anybody in the news here? Loading, thank you. President Lagarde forecast are made more uncertain by the market's tension. FDIC extends the bid for window for Silicon Valley Bridge until March. There has been substantial interest from multiple parties. S&P strengthens. Eurozone financial system is not directly exposed. Face a contagious threat. Goldman Sachs will expect the Fed to pause a March meeting this week because of stress in the banking system. BOE 25 basis point fully priced in by year and in 4 weeks. So this Bank of England cut. If that's so, that is a pound bearishness. What indicator for support screen is blurry? It is pivot points. Thank you, Scalo. What do you use 4 hour? Because I have, through testing, found out that's the best area. That's the best time frame for me to analyze the market. So yeah. So if you want the indicator name or whatever, where is it? Pivot points. Payment points. I can't find it right now. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Okay, the wrong thing. I will send you the link later. Okay, take the SSMA off then, and then indicator on, and then pivot points, and then that one. And I need to go on what? Why can I not use that? Share. Okay, so share button here. Okay.
link to this chart. Maybe I'm allowed to say that. Maybe I'm allowed to do that. Okay, fine. Sorry, YouTube, if you are banning me. Okay, that's a link to the indicator. What do you use 4 hour? Yeah, already mentioned that. Is the market always like this? No, it's just like this now. It's a bit of a, the oil has been not trending at all for quite some time, and it just did, you know, a trend now. So it is not at all this kind of market conditions, generally speaking. All right, people, have a great day. Boom, I'll see you, and it's gonna be a week until next time. See you.
Thanks again for watching today's show. Our goal at A1 Trading is to continue to share free value to our audience through daily videos and articles, keeping you up to date with the latest market coverage. If you enjoy our content, make sure to subscribe for more. And remember, if you open a $1,000 or more trading account with 8cap, you'll receive a free copy of the Edge Finder. Click the link in the description below to find out more. From all of us at A1 Trading, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.